and I went back see my Alaska fish emulsion, and I made all these. I'll come up and hand water each one. This is a New Mexico white mulberry. I got 2 of those. Not quite volunteers. I went and found some seedlings at the park down the street, pulled them out of the crack in the sidewalk and brought them home. There's a contender peach and a Santa Rosa plum, which conveniently gets fertilized by my neighbor's KV plum, which is an ornamental. My neighbor makes cherry pies out of it. Okay. This is the rest of that west wall. As you can see from here, there's the garden, the west wall. Trying to start a new bed here. I'm just trying to keep dumping leaves. Leaf mold is the base of all my compost. I've got some Chinese pistache in here. I'm gonna pot up and give away to friends and family later. The other pomegranate that made it. I had 3 of these beds. I had one here in this terrace, and I had one on each of the terraces over there. And my wife took them all over and turned them into flowers and mint and other whatnot. So she hasn't gotten out here to start working on that yet. This year's additions here, I got 2 pawpaw trees. They did not tell me they were named cultivar. I got them off of eBay. So here's hoping. This is kind of in the shade. The afternoon sun is shaded by all my neighbor's canopy. So it's not too bad in the afternoon, but it still gets about 6-7 hours. And if it hits about 6-7 feet tall right about the time it starts fruiting, it will get plenty of sun here. Let's see, that's a California pine, I think. Let me think, Bartlett pear. Bartlett pear, as opposed to these rat trees around us that are the Bradford's pear. But the Bradford's pear do pollinate this. It is pretty well loaded. I thinned the heck out of it, and it still has more pears than I can possibly handle. This is an Austrian pine. I got 2 of these that the landscaper gave me. Up top, all along the south wall, you can see my construction project going on. I'm planting a hedge all across here, about 3 to 5 feet apart, of different varieties of fig, common fig. So I'll be able to come up here and pick whatever. It's also going to stop the erosion. And I've got you on my chip pile. All that chip is going right here. So all of this where the gravel slumped will be replaced by wood chip. And every 5 feet or so, I'm planting things like Russian sage, and I've got the trees. Here's my, I believe it's called, somebody correct me, I believe it's called White Star Nectarine. Also absolutely loaded. I've thinned this one twice because I can never tell how big these are going to get. Some years are huge and some years are small. It's supposed to be a bumper year for all my stone fruit, by the way. So I expect these to be very sweet this year. My sprinkler broke underground. So I'm in the process of fixing that. It's at the manifold, so I have to redo the entire underground manifold, which sucks, which is zone 1, zone 2. My pond float valve, which I have on there to keep the pond automatically filling. All that's out now. So this drip line is inoperable. So I'm hand watering, which is fine because it gives me more control. Again, I do not remember the name of this. Relatively new. I believe that's a silver sand sage with a Sonora yucca there. This is a sweet I'm drawing a complete blank. All I can think of is the nectarine still. Almond, thank you, sweet almond. And it's self-pollinating. I only have one. I suspect someone has one in the neighborhood. because this year it's only a 3 or a 4 year, no 5 year, and it's pumping them out. I tend to get borers in my stone fruit here, and so each of those, not just my stone fruit, even some of my honey locust, and what else has gotten that? Maybe that's it. Of course, it doesn't affect the rat trees like the Russian olive or the Bradford's pear or nothing. This is a volunteer. Well, actually, if you can see, that is my neighbor's Rio Grande cottonwood up there. And there's a family of hawks that has been there for at least 10 years. And there's a second one in the neighbor beside his house. And those trees were gracious enough to give me suckers. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. I have no idea. They're here. Can't bring myself to chop down a perfectly healthy tree. So there's 2. Yeah, you can see it coming out of the root up in there. So, we have cottonwoods. Anyways, you can see right now I've got some tomato cages. I don't know if you can see them. And that's where I know for sure I'm gonna put figs. But today I'm gonna try to get at least 4 more put in the ground before I start bringing up all of that bark and wood chips that I'm getting from Chip Drop, by the way. GetChipDrop.com. Boy, you never know what you're gonna get, but it's awesome when you do. It's like Christmas in May. I think I showed you guys everything. Of course, desert willows. I got desert willows, silk mimosa, honey locust. Those are my nitrogen fixers. Russian olive in the neighbor's yard, so that covers all this. When I tend to dig, this is really sand. It's the old Rio Grande riverbed. Or you know what? I'll show you guys some of what the sand actually is, or what the soil here actually is. It's not really a sand. I mean, this isn't like sugar sand in Florida. Ignore the gravel because most of that's from construction. I'm at the bottom of 4 terraces of construction here. I got the best soil. So this is Rio Grande River silt from about 50,000 years ago. Probably more because it's a Rift Valley. So I don't know. This is the part that popped up and then pulls apart and becomes what they call a mesa, even though it's not really a mesa. And so this has really great nutrients. There's a couple of faults north of us here that the Rio Grande cuts through. I get volcanic minerals from like 3 different ranges, 3 different volcanic pushes. So it's great. There's just 0 organic matter in it at all. And add a little sulfur, add a little iron, throw in some compost, and you can grow anything. Hence the hatch green chili thing. But look at this. I mean, these are volunteers. I'm in the middle of the desert, and we get the soil so good that we get volunteer rat trees popping up everywhere. Okay, so here is it from the south, looking down the terraces toward the house. West wall, going north to the east wall. Y'all have a nice day. Peace out.